One sexual liberation practice is to locate the moment of transition between yourself as your little dog knows you, yourself as your boss knows you, yourself as your parents know you, yourself as your kids know you, yourself in that costume of a well-fitting, socialized member of the group. The transition from that self into the sexual self, which we like to call abandon, but it's not. It's just the I, it's the same I. It's the same way that we like to call our body it, but it's I. We like to call our vagina it, but it's I. We like to call our dick it, but it's I. It's all I. So in this project of self-integration, in a way that includes the sexual self and the thinking self, we have to find daily practices or, weekly practices that we can stay with until we reprogram the brain. Basically, the brain, left to its own resources, reads things a certain way in earliest childhood, and that's pretty much arbitrary, depending on our DNA and all kinds of other conditions, and then may even stick with that until new information comes in that changes that point of view. That's what we call trauma, right? Triggered trauma. In order to change the way we approach something like sex, which has been corrupted by the patriarchy for thousands of years, which has been an incessant barrage of propaganda. In order to do that, we need to change our habits first, not the other way around. It's what we do that tells our brain what we think. So if we find ways, which I will go into, to transition in a conscious way from being me right now to being me, having an orgasm, without feeling that split, that dichotomy, that a self is abandoned and a new, different self is taken on, without feeling that we are speechless, we can only shout or moan or mumble, or go into like a little girl voice or a macho boy voice or whatever in between, whatever character or archetype works for us psychically to turn us on. If we can somehow bring all that down, tone that down, and find a way to just go from one self to the other as if it's clearly the same, and in the same tone of voice and with the same energy that we have otherwise, speak to sex, speak with our partner about our choices, our needs, and then proceed to have sex with our eyes wide open, not inebriated, not medicated, not taken over by lust in this way that we're just not ourselves, but actually in consciousness, as a matter of sexual meditation, let's call it, as a matter of salvation and a hack for happiness. Everything else will change, because once we're like that, our laws will not make sense to us anymore. Everything else will change and will become more fair.